What is up, world? It's your boy Ton, and you are listening to the Wonton Wealth Podcast. Here, I'm going to unravel anything and everything commercial real estate related. And more importantly, we're going to add abundant value. So if you're ready, buckle up your eardrums. Welcome back, people. This is the part 2 of my conversation with the fast food landlord. Hopefully you learned something. So you are the fast food landlord. So many of your tenants are obviously triple net tenants. You know, Tom mentioned in the beginning, Arby's, etc., some of these higher national credit tenants. So would it be accurate to presume that right now all of your tenants are these higher end tenants that are on triple net leases?
Not all of them. Most of them are. So, we still have some strip centers where you've got the local nail salon, local pizza shop, of course, a vape shop, and a few other things in there. So, even one of our industrial properties has a local welding, shop that, they're making big pressurized tanks and stuff like that. So we do have a mix of, local tenants as well as the big national ones. And I think on, especially on strip centers that are in the heart and core of, an urban area, those things are supported. And those are like the recession resistant things where like, no matter where the economy's at, people are still going to go, to the laundromat and to get their nails done and get their hair cut and to the vape shop. That stuff's tried and true really in those areas. So we like those, but then, we also have the national ones that, we know are going to be there too. And they pay a higher rent, amount as well. So I think we've got a nice healthy mix. So even though, I coined the term fast food landlord because most people don't realize like when you drive down the main street in whatever city that investors can own Arby's and McDonald's and Starbucks and Taco Bell and Panera and Olive Garden. Like most people just think that those like tenants also own the property, but it's like, no, investors just like you and me can own that real estate and they can be our tenant paying for it. And once I realized that, that's where I was like, holy crap, this is wild. I thought of all the restaurants and stuff on that street and how they've been there since I was a kid. I was like, man, somebody's been collecting rent from those guys for the last 20 years, 30 years. So like, that's pretty wild. And then when we bought, one and it had, 20 years left on the lease, I was like, this is crazy. Like my kids are going to be like fully grown before that lease is up. So it's a fascinating thing that most people don't realize because you never see a sign in the front, in the parking lot or in the front of a McDonald's or an Arby's saying like for sale, right? Like it's always, no sign in there. So a lot of people just don't know it's available.
Gotcha. So your primary portfolio now, what are you focused on acquiring more of? Or I guess what type of tenants in what area, and I guess just the classifications of your portfolio in general?
Yeah. Right now we're super heavy in Iowa and we're focused on Iowa. Most people don't know where Iowa's at. And so it eliminates a lot of competition when we're looking for these properties. And now all of a sudden, someone's going to be listening to this from California and be like, all right, I got to figure out where I was at and start going after this. But, so we do that. One, we know the neighborhoods. We know the people that are living there. We know the operators, the managers of the stores. We feel very comfortable about that. Either we like know somebody there, we have a cousin or somebody we're related to that like lives there. So we just know the area. There's like intangibles on that when you know the management, like the type of customers that are patronizing a store, like that stuff you can't read, browsing the internet for, a property, or you can't look that up on Google. So that gives us a little more advantage. As far as the mix of properties, right now, like we've got a really nice diversified mix between industrial, we've got some medical, we've got the, fast food restaurants, we got the casual dining, we've got the strip centers, a couple warehouses, stuff like that. So it's a wide range. And I think right now dollar stores, as far as going a little bit bigger box. And I think right now it's like, yeah, we're just looking on how can we keep that diversification within the triple net lease space, going and then adjust to wherever the market's at. Right now, we've got a lot of stuff in the portfolio that's long-term leases, just really passive and long-term stuff that we plan on holding for a long time. So right now we're kind of looking at maybe some more value add deals where we can either grab some cash flow or do a flip where we're adding a immense amount of value and maybe, grabbing $1 million or $2 and then rolling that into some longer term stuff. So just kind of a mix. Right now we're also doing our first development project. And so learning something new on that side. One of our long-term industrial tenants, they've been with us for 10 years. They're expanding and, want to build. They're building on, currently their current building's 45,000 square feet. They're building another 30,000 square foot building onto that. So they just did a new 20-year lease and it includes, the cost of building that. So it's kind of a new project that we're doing and working through just kind of all the adventures of development with that.
Your hands are in like so many fucking pots, man.
Not marinas yet.
Not marinas yet. Eventually. Right? But it sounds like the majority of the portfolio is probably retail. Would that be?
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of people are like kind of shitting on retail. They're seeing all this bullshit out there. They're scared of it. What would you say to the naysayer that's kind of shitting on retail?
I mean, retail is hot. Like, I think people have been saying it for a long time. The Amazon is going to take down retail and, just basically the internet's going to take down retail, right? Like, but what we're seeing now, especially even with big brands, is they understand that they need that retail presence, the brand equity that they're building where people may buy online, but they still want to go to somewhere physically where they can see and touch and feel, the item, whether it's shoes to be able to try them on or, a hooded sweatshirt or something like that. Like it's still there. And it also just creates an experience. So I think we see a lot of retailers shifting to like, they want that experience when you come in through the front door. What's the music that you hear? What does it smell like in there? Like you go into some places like, oh my gosh, they're pumping some sort of fragrance into the air. And so it's like, that's an experience you can't get, online. So they're doing that. And you see like Lululemon, where they're doing like yoga classes and different things like that. So I think they're tying in, they understand a lot of market share is going directly to their website, directly to Amazon or whatever, but they're tying in the experience of going to the physical location, creating a community within like that area because they know that creates brand loyalty and just all the other kind of things that go with it. So we've seen some brands pull out of retail and say, well, the overhead, you got to cut back. But then now they're coming back because they realize the importance of the stickiness of that brand loyalty of having that presence there. So even though, especially in bigger cities where it might be higher rent, let's say Miracle Mile in Chicago, where you've got like Nike and Under Armour and Lululemon and everybody, right? But even if the Under Armour store in downtown Chicago was not making money, they would never pull out of there because just by not having a presence there, they would lose brand affinity and loyalty and stuff like that. So that would automatically pull down their online sales. So people are understanding that the retail correlation between physical location and online, like all tie together. That's big brands. Now, locally, you've got the mom and pop businesses, which small businesses are the backbone of every community. And I'm a huge advocate for entrepreneurs. And those are what hold everything together. It's the old Italian restaurant that's been there for 50 years. It's the nail salon. It's, the hairstylist and all these other things that are staples in a community. And again, it's because like the owners and the people working there, their kids go to school with, the customers' kids, and like everyone like is in the ecosystem together where they're supporting one another. So those are also like very strong for a community as well, and also need it where you can't, add AI or outsource getting your haircut or your nails done. So I always think those are going to be, there's tried and true things that are going to happen at a retail level in every community.
Gotcha. Well, I have to ask this because every conference we go to, we get asked the same question, and I'm gonna throw some shade at Liam DeLumpa, who we met, who was out there 3 years ago. The funny story was he was just attached to us for some ungodly known reason, consistently every day, and just kind of like one of those gnats that just won't go away, you know. And he was kind of attached to Tom for a minute, and he would continuously ask Tom, like, "Hey, man, how many doors do you own?" So, Tom, I gotta ask you, what was your reply to his question?
I don't remember. Oh, it probably was like in triple net lease or in commercial like retail stuff, like nobody's counting doors, right? And
Exactly.
I think your reply was all right, like are we caught inside doors, outside doors, closet doors, garage doors? In industrials, like how many dock doors do you have? You know, and so that was like the big, I guess measurement among the multifamily guys. Like, yeah, I got 1,000 doors. Like, all right, cool. That's amazing. When you can have one door in commercial and that one door could be worth 5 or 10 million. And I've also seen people measure on like, oh, I've got, a couple 100,000 square feet, whatever, so we're at 25 properties, closing on 2 more tomorrow. So we'll have 27 properties, somewhere around 50 tenants. One of these days I'll have to drive around and count how many total doors. The ones with double doors might throw it off, and garage doors and whatnot. But we're gonna get a total door count and figure that out. All I know is if a door, like one of the hinges on a door, goes bad or something, it's not fun replacing doors. They're expensive. Commercial doors are much more expensive than multifamily as well, by the way. Like on the new building, like we're going through all the bids from contractors, and like a door's like $5,000 on a commercial building. I'm like how is this $5,000? I was like and I don't know what it is in an apartment
Probably
building,
like
might be
three, 400
500 or
bucks.
200. I think I saw doors for $200, and I'm like, what is this?
Not if
So
you buy them used.
yeah,
God, that's too funny. But so once again, you got a ton of shit going on. You do all these crazy things and a lot of hands in several pots, a lot of hats, etc. Family man, entrepreneur, investor. How do you balance all the shit that you have while also giving time to your family and also living a fulfilling life? Like you mentioned, you travel, right? So
yeah.
how's that balance work?
We've got an amazing team. So my wife manages, pretty much all the real estate, and she takes care of that, and then also, helps keep me on track. And then we've got an amazing team here at One Air T-shirts. Just everyone from the front desk to the people working the embroidery machines, screen printing presses, like everything. Like everybody on this team is absolute rock stars. I love working with every day. And then the other businesses, again, we just have like really good teams. And then if there is something that is beyond the capacity or time or whatever, then if they're not on our team, we're partnered with really good third party vendors or partners, really, in that way. So we've got a good bookkeeping partnership with someone, good accounting team, some of the marketing and advertising. So we just like partner with really good people, and all I am is like the orchestrator to keep all the plates spinning at the same time.
Love that. Love that. So your side hustle turned into kind of your main hustle, but it's a little bit more on the passive side because of a great team that you have kind of
Yeah.
handling everything, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, one thing that I really love asking people is that, well, not everybody, but successful people, is I want to know what is keeps the motor running, right? So someone like yourself who's super highly disciplined, have a strong, a strong mental fortitude. What are your daily habits like, and how did you get to the point where you're such a badass?
Yeah, I think creating those daily habits. So wake up at 5:30 and work out every morning, go for a run. And that's my time to clear my head, to kind of think about what I need to do for the day and get that kind of all sorted out. If I miss that, my whole day is kind of thrown off. And then just having priority of like what to do, but then also what not to do. The last couple of years, I've really been eliminating a lot of stuff that wasn't, moving the needle or wasn't going to, lead to big outcomes and stuff like that. Like I realized that there's a lot of things where I was like, why am I doing that? And, just stuff that was filling up time essentially. So eliminating a lot of time fillers. Then just, figuring out like prioritizing the rest of your time on where it needs to go. The other thing I've been doing a lot is playing a meditation before going to sleep. And that's been just like clearing my mind. So I used to wake up and be thinking about like, oh my gosh, I'm working on this or doing this and, halfway and stuff. And now I get really deep sleeps, and the meditations definitely recommended or helping with that. And so just staying consistent on those things just helps.
Aside from running, do you do any like weight training, or is it just kind of cardio?
Yeah. So been doing more and more weight training and trying to mix it up. I understand my body, won't be able to run forever. So do some biking, get on the Peloton during the winter time. So running, Peloton, lifting, really anything just to get physically active and get the blood moving.
What has been, and it sounds like you're a huge reader and a learner in and of itself. So what resource, book, podcast, whatever, has had the most profound impact on your life? And I guess if you could give one tidbit to the listeners or whatever of your favorite quote or the best advice that you could give, what would that be?
Yeah. So I study a lot of older entrepreneurs, and my favorite is Napoleon Hill. So he's got the book Think and Grow Rich, but he also has a ton of other books. So I will go back and re-listen to a lot of his stuff from a mindset perspective, and that's helped a ton. Andrew Carnegie as well. So I'll look at, some of the titans of the early 1900s and follow where they've been, how they got there. And a lot of them are living on like tried and true principles that are really timeless. And so that's why I'm listening to stuff and I'm like, holy crap, this was happening in the early 1900s or whenever, 100 years ago. And I'm like, this still applies today. It's almost as like if someone was telling you to today, even in today's, circumstances with AI and the internet and everything else, I'm like, this is crazy. It still applies right now. So those are some of my favorites. One of my ultimate favorites, again, goes along the same vein of tried and true, principles is the 38 letters from J.D. Rockefeller to his son by J.D. Rockefeller. Absolutely phenomenal. And so, I just look at like these old dudes that, titans of their time, and it's still just like tried and true stuff. So everything from mindset to just like how to do business and live a fulfilled life and all that stuff. With the amount I run, I listen to a lot of books. So I can plow through books multiple times, 2x speed. So whether it's books or podcasts, I get a lot of content in and use that to help shape kind of my path and where I'm going.
Love that. So with the fast food stuff, if you could have any fast food chain as a tenant, which one would it be and why?
Oh, wow. Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. Okay.
I don't have an Olive Garden yet. I don't know of any that have closed. In Dubuque, Iowa, it is packed every night of the week. I'm like, that Olive Garden is going to be there for 100 years. And people are always going to love, Italian food, I think. Maybe Chick-fil-A is another one. And I feel like I had an opportunity a couple of years ago, and we had other deals going on. I just didn't get on this one that was local. And looking back, I'm like, man, that thing's going to be there. And my kids love eating there. So I was like, having the Chick-fil-A, the portfolio would have been awesome. We're keeping it on our radar. So I'm not saying one's off the list yet, but definitely the local one. I'm like, gosh, I wish I had that one.
So it'd be safe to say if you got either one of those, your go-to fast food order would be a chicken sandwich or the unlimited breadsticks.
Yeah. So I would, and I think if they were my tenants, I would, like I said, the kids love Chick-fil-A, but we'd definitely go there and patronize them even more and just keep building that relationship.
Love it. Love it. Well, outside of everything that we've talked about, is there anything else that myself or the general public does not know about you that's just cool as shit?
No, I think we covered everything, or at least everything everyone needs to know right now, but it's constantly evolving. So the thing is, like, we're young yet. We're going to keep doing this thing and keep growing, experiencing life to the fullest, and meet new people, do new deals. And there's always going to be something coming down the pipeline. It's going to be fun and interesting. And we'll do the ones that we can, and hopefully say no to the ones that we need to say no to.
Man, when I grow up, I want to be like you and just start doing some cool shit like that. You know what I mean? But that's all the questions I had for you, brother. As a handoff to the audience, let them know how to reach out to you, where Rauen Capital is, what you're looking for, how the audience can help you in general.
Yeah. So you can go to rauencapital.com or just follow me on Instagram at Fast Food Landlord.
And then your 1-800 t-shirts.
Yeah, and then the
website?
1-800 t-shirts, pretty self-explanatory there. You can call 1-800 t-shirts. Follow us on all social medias at 1-800 t-shirts.
And what is Rauen Capital specifically looking for? Deals and investors, I assume?
Yeah. So Rauen Capital's, we're looking for triple net deals. We're looking for investors. So we've got some syndications and some funds. So we're always looking for people to bring on and invest alongside of us.
Love it. And as you guys know, triple net leases with these type of tenants are very low risk. And Tom is an outstanding dude. He will never miss a pref payment. And if shit goes south, he's going to get you right. Right, Tom?
Yeah, I got you covered.
Well, shit, brother. That's all I had for you. That was awesome. Obviously, just you being a badass will probably fucking kill the episode. So,
dude, it's always good seeing you.
Good deal, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. See you.
See you, buddy. And that's a wrap. If you've made it this far, that means you've listened to the entire episode. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And if you've learned something or found it useful, share it with one of your homies. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm pretty active on IG. My handle is pro_TANH. Reach out, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you want to hear about in the future. I'm here to tailor this to you. Until next time.